Hey traders, what is going on? Welcome back to another video. Just wrapping up this week here basically. So I'm just in these trades. Well, not wrapping up the week in particular, but um I plan to be closing these trades on GJ very shortly. I've been holding these since the beginning of the week. Started with the I think $22 in the count, took one loss of about 130-ish. I'll show all that later. I just want to be able to document that I'm closing this. So basically this is the 1 minute time frame. We pushed from this resistance back to previous lows, and then I went ahead and marked this as an interesting area, and then obviously the low as an interesting area as well. So as price broke back in within this range, I'll look to see if price will break back above, and then I'll just look to close. Or maybe we'll be continuing lower where we might find other reasons to exit the trade. I am just trailing these profits. We took these trades quite a while ago, right? Like I said, today's Thursday, about mid Thursday. The day probably has about 10 hours left in it. But yeah, that being said, we'll be closing real soon on this, guys. If we look at the higher time frame, we see this resistance that we're actually playing off of. So resistance, we came back in, we fell back down, and we are currently making new lows. Okay, so that being said, guys, we'll touch up on this in a very few amount of minutes. We'll see how price battles with this support that it's at. And then we'll probably just bring our stop losses to a break-even point, so we're make sure we're safe and everything's good. That being said, guys, we'll touch up on this in a little when we close the trades and we're doing the review and everything just like that. Hey everybody, what's going on? Okay, so we are back. Quick little update. So we didn't close with this activity that was happening here, so I'm just watching it from my phone. Staying updated with the market structure and everything just like that. So our last resort area is just around just around this area here, and just around this area as well, including the high, because we have this overall resistance just around here. So if anything interesting were to happen, there would basically be a liquidity pull above this area and then a shoot back down. Kind of similar to what happened right here, where price struck above that area and then back to the downside. So that is the same idea, right? It's always the same idea that we're looking for, but it's that same idea right here where we have that resistance. We would look for that resistance to hold. It did not hold in this case, and then it performed a spike above, which we're now looking for price to come back down in. But nonetheless, I do want to add that so the balance is just around 1900 right here, just under 2000. So I am looking to close a position just right around here. Yeah, I'm looking to close a position right around here, if we do get around that area, because I'm like, realistically our profit gain has been really well so far, and that is acceptable, it's reasonable, so I'm willing to close. Given that it is also Thursday, Friday's coming in, like I said, about 9 hours or so. So I'm willing to rest for the rest of the week and for the weekend, and then just come back fresh Monday, or just look for fresh opportunities for Friday, just for that one day, few hours, few minutes, whatever the case. But that being said, let's see how this trade goes. Will we push to the new lows, or will we get out? I do want to wait for the New York session to come in. I believe we'll get some activity there, just because the US kind of has its own dealings in the rest of the world's affairs. So that really included in the pound, right? We're trading the pound here, and also involved, but less of in the yen as well. So yeah, we are going to wait with this, see how this goes, update things. And okay, you see how I said we're looking for liquidity. So there's that liquidity push above, and then we look for it to come back down. Same thing here. We got that push above and come back down. Same thing here. We got to push up, come back down. Always going in the same direction as the main trend, but This same thing happens to the opposite side of things. So even with supports, price come back down, liquidity grab here and go up. It happens on both sides of the spectrums because there's always market orders being built on both sides of the spectrums. Everything's dual. We talk about that. We cover that here. So that being said, guys, we'll touch on this in a bit. We'll see how it goes, where we exiting, and what is the end result. Yeah, hey traders, we're back with another quick update. So like I said, I'm planning my exit out of the market now. So like I said, this high here was about a $2,000 balance, I believe 1,900, something like that. So I'm probably gonna get out with about 1,700, maybe worst case 1,600, if we do come back up to this area. So there's a few reasons why my stop loss is actually here. One being that so this is the high area of the market structure, so I'm placing my stop loss on the other side of that, and then we have this area here which acted as support as well. So stop loss is a little tight, though I do want to give perspective to that this pair seems to be moving in a lot of range right now. This is about a whole area of about, I think, about 40 pips, right? So about 30 something pips. But yeah, we're looking to hold this to continue lower. We'll continue to update our stop loss pretty aggressively, given that, like I said, it's Thursday. I want to be out of the market by Friday so I can give you guys a full review on this over the weekend, right? And so we can get back into it in the next week. But for now, this is how things are looking. Market structure is not bad. We can still continue to the downside. Nothing has been in violation yet. But I'm on the lookout for that. I'm looking out for if things are to change. Do we need to update our stop loss anymore? Yeah, so let's stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned. Hey traders, what is going on? Welcome back to another video. We have a lot to talk about today. We have a lot to cover, so I just want to really hop to it. Guys, let me know how your trading week has been going in the comments below. And before we go anywhere else, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and let's continue through with this. So I just started looking at some of the results here and of the past week. So, you know, the first video that we recorded contained the first 2 weeks, and then this is for the last 2 weeks, last week and the week before. So I just want to go over some of the results. I've been looking at them, and so last video we ended the account with $400, and right now we're sitting at 3,100 basically. So there's some growth there in the last 2 weeks, but it's been a ridiculously we can say volatile week, you know. And I really want to cover Friday yesterday, the trades the trades I ended up taking on Bitcoin, because I really, after I was looking at the screenshots and everything, I really seen a good display of my emotions and stuff just becoming so erratic and just so I want to say fearful of the fact that I might lose this trade, but we'll get into that. But that's at the end as we go through. So like I said, I have some screenshots of these results and things of these trades that we took. Some on Telegram and some in my photos. But we'll take a look at these as well. So if we actually go into the first trades of the week. Okay, so here in Telegram, we have the picture of the first trade of the week. So we took a few trades. This was a counter trend trade. Let's actually pull up. Let's put up the MT4 chart. Let's put it on what we need, GJ, and I believe we're looking at the 15-minute time frame or something like that. We can yeah, so this is it here. We end up losing almost $300 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, right around here we're looking to actually take this short. We can go like this actually. You know what? Let's do a bunch of these. So we can see our positions right here. Okay, so we went short. We had a resistance right in this area. Right, we had a resistance right there. Price This was a counter trend trade because the way we're taking our trades, we're looking at the weekly time frame, and the week previously was a bullish week, so we should have been taking our trades bullish, right? So I ended up paying for the trade by taking these 3 losses right here, right, which brought the count down significantly, I believe, to around we have these 2 losses, a few more losses, okay? And then this is actually the start of last week. So throughout all those losses, we ended up going down to $22, and then we grew the count back up. So from actually, yeah, taking those losses, we can follow up. So there's our positions. We entered another position there, all to go short. But we know that this trade is a counter trend trade. The weekly time frame before was a bullish trade. So in that point of view, this whole bias was wrong. But I was conscious of the fact that I did accept the potential risk on this trade, knowing that it was a counter trend trade. So this was the trading view picture, just something like this. And then we popped up, and then this was a 127. And then this was an E1, E2 level, pulling back up to this major resistance as well. This is not the fib level that it should be on. It should be on from this high here to this low, and I believe this is about the E1, and then we are in another resistance. So it gave the potential for price to come down to a certain degree, whether at least this for a first point, and then these lows for a second point, where we would be able to close out in some profit or something like that. But let's continue through, and we can see what the balance is. 400, we're down 230, we have about 172. So there's that. Like I said, we were in the 127 level, E1 level. And then basically we ended up closing out for the loss, like the MT4 showed. We closed out for the loss. And then the next time, so this is where all that happened, right? We came down, we took our sell positions, we came back up, and we're looking for price to come back down so we can clear out. We took our loss as price continued to rise, but as it did come back to this area, as some of my students will know, I believe in the TPA 2.0, we covered the whole change of structure stuff, the whole things about change of structure, where market structure was making lower lows, actually breaking that structure with a higher high formation, right? Giving higher high structure, coming back down into this area as support, and then rejecting it. So that's where we went in to take a couple of our buys. We secured ourselves, price came up, stuttered again, and then referring to the videos that I've made on the 7 principles of trading, this is the type of things that I'm actually looking for, where the market goes into a trending phase, then goes into a consolidating phase. And you want to try to find your opportunity in the consolidating phases, because this is when the market is kind of in the womb, or kind of in the stage of producing more potential opportunities later. Okay, later. The best time for opportunity is not while the market is pushing and pushing and pushing. Sure, if you want to scalp, you can do all those things. And one thing that is very much on my mind this whole week, this past month, at the start of this month really, is that life and the world is so it's so flexible and so creative, right, in the way that it gets things done. And even as a trader, and I have my weekly point of view from the week. Sorry, I have my point of view from the weekly time frame, so I know what direction I'm trading in for the week. Once I know that, my mindset is that the market can take many ways up there, right? It can either do it by supporting resistance, it can do it by giving liquidity grabs and all those other type of stuff. It can do it by rejecting moving averages. It can do it by rejecting fib levels. But the thing is, it's so creative, where I refer to, and I mentioned this in other videos as well, where not everybody gets a turn, and not every strategy gets a turn to make a trade in every given scenario, right? So the market might give a large push up but never gave you an entry opportunity. Sometimes those things happen. But the point that I'm getting at is that the market can take many different ways to get to that bullish weekly candle that we've been looking at, that we've been anticipating from the weekly time frame, given the pressure and stuff and the structure from the weekly time frame and stuff like that, right? So basically, we're in that female state of market structure where we're consolidating right here. So we enter more positions and we carry ourselves up to the upside. Same thing happens here. We went from a push to a consolidating market. So I'm looking to find my entry. We did miss a potential entry on the break and retest of this here, but that is fine because I was trying to hold my positions for the week. And we came back to these lows, formed a 127, 161 entry, which we got into. And then we carried this up to the upside. Let's continue forward. So there we pushed. I'm updating my market structure. I see that we have this resistance turn support, kind of goes in line with the E2 level. So that's cool, something to take note of. Okay, and I just enter a buy right here. The reason I'm entering the buy is because we have this resistance here, basically the resistance forming. So we would have a break of that, and then I know potential stop losses are down here and down here if we're really breaking structure. And at this point in time, okay, so at this point in time, our balance is still 22, but our equity is at 687. So we need to take note of this because we're going to go over somewhere else. There's no more pictures. The pictures pick up after one lot, and I'm pretty sure we're not doing one lot at that point. So let's just pick up. Okay, so this is that whole thing where I guess I'm about to place a buy here. Okay, well, this is not really informational, but this is that buy that we ended up placing, and we're still trying to get out right at the top. So I was mentioning this on my Instagram all the time. If you don't know, at 24/7 pips right there. So I was talking about this on the stories where we have this area right here as a weekly high a few weeks ago, of course, but it's still a definite area as a reversal point. Price came up here in the past, couldn't handle it, and dropped severely, right? So I kind of anticipate something similar, or I know it's an area for mental weakness in this area. So from the lower time frame, I'm looking for some type of reaction at this area or some type of consolidation, or basically, as I called it, there should be an issue in price movements, right? So price can stumble, price can not move as clearly as it was before. And then from there, that's also where I was planning to take my take profit. I believe I put my take profit just above because we're also applying the idea of liquidity. And if I'm trying to just maximize my gains, I know I can put my TP just a little bit above that, right? So we go through, we added a few more positions, it looks like, and we are at 1200 now. This trade here is still on the break retest, and then we have the same thing here, and these are still low positions because if we look back, we can see that we still have $1,000 and our free margin, which is something that I take in as important information, is still sitting at 1,000, and I'm only adding 0.05s. At the point in time when I had a balance of 22 and I took these first two trades, yes, it was very, very risky. But still, the potential loss was going to be about maybe $4 a piece, maybe max, yeah, $4 a piece. And I would still be able to take 2 more, 3 more trades after that point to have the potential for more growth. So this is when we're approaching our TP area. I believe I don't have my TP set in yet, but there we have it now set. Like I said, it's just a little bit above that green line because we should still have that marginal stretch in liquidity to pull a lot of the people who are going to say, wow, man, this shit is breaking on new highs. Let's enter more buys. So they do that stuff there. Yeah, basically I mentioned I'm looking to exit my positions, and boom, looks like we fell. So we were so close to the TP, right? We never went to the TP. We went back down, and then I just seen the opportunity at the E1, E2 level to take some more entries. So that's what I went ahead and did. And then there we are just waiting. And then we're down a little. This is me just marking up, looking at the 1 minute time frame, not acting on the 1 minute time frame. I do want to specify. I'm just looking at it. Now, there's an issue sometimes with just looking at the charts, because a lot of people look at the charts and then get tempted to act and do something. This is not what we're doing. It's just simply just looking at it. This picture could have been taken on the 4 hour, but it would have shown less detail. And like I said, I'm trying to exit somewhat soon. Another reason for this picture. So this trade was taken from the 30-minute time frame. I mentioned this on the story. This trade was taken from the 30-minute time frame. There's a gap right here, right? A gap in price gapped down. And so there's the idea that gaps get filled. I'm not saying gaps get filled all the time, because like I mentioned just earlier, things don't happen all the time. Not everybody gets a turn in the market at every point in time. It's, sometimes this strategy gets an opportunity and sometimes another strategy gets opportunity. So I have the anticipation that this gap can get filled. It basically created some liquidity right around this area, some market orders right around this area, given the fact that it gapped, right? There's a bunch of orders that shifted price to such a fast degree that caused a gap in price. So basically, I know that we should be attacking this area. And if we're attacking this area, then we can still push a little higher, and our TP is sitting like just right there. So boom, that's the gap. There's our balance. And there is us pushing nicely to the upside. Okay, so this is something I wanted to show because we came so close to filling that gap, and it's not exactly there. It's like 75-80% there. We fell back down, me just marking up price. Okay, formed another gap there, so we should still be attacking the upside to some degree. We're falling through. There we form another gap on the 1 minute time frame down there. So I know to some degree we should be attacking the downside at some point in time as well. One thing that I want to specify, and I do want to bring back to attention, and I mentioned this in the 7 principles of trading videos and stuff like that, but the market is forming market orders on all different time frames at every point in time, because that is what it does. It deals with market orders. So there's going to be liquidity everywhere in the market. The market is just gravitated towards the place with most liquidity to take the most money, right? So even though we have liquidity down here, we have some market orders here, we have market orders here, all these areas would be hit at some point in time, and they eventually do, right? We go through, we pop above it, come back down, boom, we're into the new day. Look at this. Look at this crazy thing where our spread is now 25 pips. Okay. So there, we're still holding. We finally closed the gap right there. So I took a picture, and there's us pushing to the upside. That is what it looks like on the 4 hour. We stacked in some beautiful trades there. Okay. And that is what we closed out that balance out on GJ. And so from that whole GJ bull thing, there was the mistake when we tried to short it, right? From there, we seen the weekly taken out, and we went to short this position. Okay, so there, let's go to the MT4. Let's go to 4 hour. So there we can see what happened. Price came right back up to the previous resistance, peaked right above it, and it came down. So from that whole thing, we're looking to short this price, and that is actually what we get to do. Boom, move my stop loss and profit, because I'm like, it's already such a good gain. Like, I've already had such a good week, basically. Just bringing the $400 account is what is in my mind, or what's in my mind is really the $200 account. Right, $200 was what I put into the Bitcoin ATM, and I got $175 in the trading account. So realistically, I just want to get that $200, $205 back, right? And then I know things have been profitable. Um, but yeah, we in this position, we continue down to new lows. We're pulling in 104 pips on this. And one thing on my mind, I was like, GJ is really moving a lot of distance. It's crazy the pip distance that it's moving. Um, just given these 2 weeks, I'm like, these are 200, 300, 400 pip distances. Well, mainly because we held a lot of our positions, but it's a lot of pips, you know. So there's our balance, and this is what we're holding at 2700 with this position. I go through, this is the 1 minute time frame. Okay, we're selling GJ. I want to figure out why we're selling GJ right now. Let's this is the one lot. Let's go over into this. I lost these one lot positions. Okay, so let's drag. Okay. And let's drag this one on too. Let's go to the 1 hour. So this is these positions here. So basically we tried to short it. And price reversed back up to the weekly resistance, right? As a sum. So we went from there, right? And this is the dangerous thing about these high risk trades. You know, you got to be careful. Okay, yeah. So this is what happened. Right in this area here, we had our short positions. We're not completely wrong on the bias. We're just a little bit early to the setup. And it came through. Like I said, it always forms liquidity around these areas. So we ended up being liquidity in these areas. But we came back, same bias, same everything, to flood back to the downside. So yeah, we had our positions in and around these areas. Price came back up to the weekly high area. We lost our positions from the 1000, right? From the 1000 to 23, whatever. Okay. And this is on the 9th. And as price was coming back down, we came back, entered more positions, followed through. This is about 200 pips, 220 pips. And still same thing, looking to go to the downside. Boom. So this is a good indication. Balance from 23 to 200. So that brings our balance, because we started with 175, $200, whatever you want to say. So that basically brings us floating just above break even. Still same thing, just watching market structure, entering more positions. We took a loss on the 15 that we're holding. This 15 ends up losing through a margin call. We ended up adding a few ones, right? Still sure on the bias. And one thing I want to say is that you can already tell these are high risk trades. These are personal high risk trades. And I'm willing to take the loss. It's literally $200. So I'm willing to take the loss on the whole thing. So after we lose that 15, that 0.15, our balance goes to negative 94. We end up holding our positions. We're coming through, floating at 800. And really, we're just holding these, you know. We have this position sitting right here, which doesn't get activated. Just sitting right there. Yeah, we had a 127 in this area from high to low, right into this area. We do end up coming back into this area to activate that 0.3. Boom, we're just floating. I add in more positions. This is an updated fib from high to low, E1, E2, and E2 has the pending order. E1 had a pending order which got activated, obviously. And then this is big drawdown, obviously, but we're just floating at around 1,900, and now we're at 500 basically. Right, so there we are, continuing through with our trades. Boom, from E2 level, sharp trade, but you know, we're holding. We're up 1,100, 1,200, whatever you want to say. This was the trade beautifully. Right, okay, so there we're still carrying our position. I believe we carry this all the way up to 1,700 or something. So really, there's nothing much to it. Like, there's no reason to exit because we're following the weekly time frame. Nothing has really changed. On the other case where it was like Thursday, we peaked at the weekly high. You know, that's a finished move because we made it somewhere. In this case, we're just still following the trend downwards. Here we have another beautiful E1 level. The first trade I took at the bottom right there was supposed to be because we interacted with the E1 and I was late. And then we popped up to the E1 better. And I still had room for risk. So I took it there and price fell beautifully. We're sitting at 1,500. Fell beautifully, yes. And I was thinking about taking my TP there, but didn't because I'm like, the trend is still bearish. If anything, the market is going to do is just going to develop and process itself until further downside, or I'll just cut my losses if not. We have another E1, E2 level. Boom, start falling. And then here is something that I'm noticing. So we have a support being built in price. And what price is doing is basically attacking this. So I can see that buyers are trying to hold this area, but sellers just keep attacking, right? Sellers were there previously with the whole downfall and everything. We're coming from about 168. Yeah, $168. We're at 162 right now. So yeah, we're up 2K. This is another setup I seen. Right, and so this is one of the things, like I mentioned with E1, E2 levels, you have the setup, support and resistance, and then you can measure from high to low. You get your E1, E2, and you look to take it from those areas. Right, so this is me just looking to take my take profit on this. Let me tell you what I'm seeing. So basically, as price is stretching down to these areas, I'm just looking to see, okay, are we going to break above this area and continue upwards, or are we going to break below this area and continue downwards? If we're to break up, then I'm satisfied with my profit and just exit the market. If we're going to go downside, then we can just trail our stop loss because we had really good profits at this point. Okay, so the market pushes to further downside, but it doesn't stay down there long, I'm pretty sure. Right, so I go through, update the market structure, high to low, just to see if there's anything happening. And we come back here and we stumble for a little. And I believe the day is ending soon. Yeah, so we come back here and we stumble for a little, so I just ready to exit the market. And there is that. So as we do all that, I see potential room for some scalping trades because we're approaching the end of the day. I believe there's about 4 hours, 3 hours and a half left, 3.5 hours left. Right, so just a few scalps up to the top, and we've seen that our balance is 22. and we took these. So these are high risk trades. As we're getting towards the end of the week, the psychology the psychology starts to deter. It's like, I remember reading this thing where it's like you only have a certain amount of decisions or quality decisions that you can make a day before your brain or your decision making muscle starts to get tired. So I really start to see it, and this is what I was mentioning with the Bitcoin trade as well. A lot of the trades were rushed and feared, right, in the Bitcoin trades. So there, we're taking our trades, we make it up to about 2,700, 2,800. We get room for 2 more trades here. Okay, and then this is where the issue begins. So let me just bring us up to speed everywhere else. Right, we followed through to the downside. Boom. Like I said, so this is just the high that we're targeting, and then there's a gap actually right here, and then we have swing low to swing high, E1, E2 level right around here mixed in with support, so we're looking to take that buy. The other thing to take note of is, like I said, for the TPA 2.0, we have that whole structure thing going on right here, and this is the female state in the market when the market consolidates. So we have a push up showing us the general direction. We knew what the general direction was anyways. And then the market comes back into this area, right? Consolidation. First it was making these lower lows. So we know a definite thing was lower lows, consolidating market. And then one thing is the break of the higher high structure that actually starts coming in, that tells you something is shifting here. And then we do not actually get a break of the low, so that gives us reason to take this trade to the upside to some degree. This would have naturally hit our stop loss, but I held to it anyways. Let's see how this trade closed. Both of these trades closed for 300 and 230. From there, I removed the balance, right? So I withdrew 175 that was in it. I want to take at least 200, and I know there's going to be some fees for removing the money. So I took out 142, so that way I basically have my own balance back, and I have some profit, and still with 3,100 whatever in the account. So from there, we went and took some trades on Bitcoin, and these trades were really I'm not gonna say really troublesome. I did obviously accept the risk, but I just seen a very terrible display of my psychology during these trades. So the whole analysis and stuff isn't actually here, and we came through. Basically, at the start of the day, we stacked up some sells right around here, right? We ended up taking our max sell around here. Good thing that we did, so we were able to close in for a small profit of $12 for the end of the day. I believe we have all those pictures. So yeah, so this was the start where we took our first trades here, and every time we went higher, I basically added in another one. It wasn't apparent to me yet, but obviously if I'm doing this, then my psychology just isn't in place. If you notice on all the other trades, they are just based on either support and resistance, break and retest, or the E1, E2 level, some degree of market structure forming to go to the trending direction. These ones here for the Bitcoin ones are more just spatial distances. So, just one here and then a certain degree of pips above, I would do another one. And then our TP is right around here. So our first entry right there. And we're just looking to go with the general direction that Bitcoin has been going in lately to short, right? So there we go through, and we came so close to our TP, but didn't actually smack into it. We made new highs, still entered. And it's at this point in time where I'm just like, I think our max loss here was, or our drawdown was about to $300, $400. And I'm okay with that. If we lose the balance to 1,500, I'm okay with that. Like, because we still had a growth from $200 or $400 from last week to 1,500. So that is perfectly fine with me, where I can start fresh the next week and be able to build from that, right? It's just keeping realistic percentage gains in my head, one thing as well, because if you make 100% of your account, that is genius, brilliant. If you make 50%, that is amazing, right? So if you make 50%, do something with that. Take some out, do something to where you can be level-headed and continue forward the next time. So we almost come down to our TP again, and then we decided to go right back up, and there we're down 700, but we have a balance of 3,100. So I'm okay with, like I said, I'm okay with 1,500 if that's where we end up going. And these are, you can just look at these trades, and really I just see the fear in them. These are terribly taken trades. It's a good thing that they did not have much of a positive result. They were just break-even trades, basically made $12. Like the whole set of trades made $12. But yeah, so this is about 9 o'clock right now, and we're looking to just exit before the end of the day, which is going to be 5 o'clock, right? So this is one thing that I was breaking down, and this is one thing that I was breaking down somewhere on my Snapchat, where the trend is a downtrend, right? But what we're getting is a lot of confusing market structure. We're getting a lot of consolidation and just things that really deter you from the trend, right? So this was the point where we're falling down, and then we're starting to see, if we had a trend line in here, we're starting to see price break above, right? And I was just identifying that this is a trap, right? The market structure is more likely to go up, cause a lot of losers, and then fall back to the downside, right? Which is what happened. So there we go. I make a little thing, and then price actually goes up, falls back down, just like we said. We're still falling. Okay, we're at 1 o'clock now. We have a gain. So this line right here shows where break even is, basically where the zero marker is. So we have about $100, $200 in profit there. But basically by the end, so this is a picture of my screen when I'm looking to close. So there's that red line. And we're about $8, boom, and that's where we close live market. Yeah, so we removed $242 from the account, and this is where we sit from and this is where we sit given the end of the week, right? So next week we're just starting fresh. We already made our withdrawal. And we'll see where next week takes us. Really, this is just the June run, so we have maybe 2 weeks left, 1 week left. Yeah, it's about 2 weeks left. See how far we can take this count. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you rate, comment, subscribe. Definitely leave a comment. With that being said, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out. Stay tuned for the next one.